Hey, what's up everybody? It's the People's Crypto. I'm back again with another video. We have some interesting new developments in the cryptocurrency space as always. But before we dive in, please keep in mind that this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research and please seek out a financial advisor with a background in cryptocurrencies or digital assets. Our first story is titled France approves new cryptocurrency measures to fight anonymous transactions. The French Council of Ministry has approved a series of new measures to combat anonymity of cryptocurrency transactions. Anonymous accounts are banned at crypto exchanges, which now must impose stricter know your customer requirements. France's finance minister Bruno Le Maire says the changes are necessary to fight against terrorism financing. Now, I'm going to have to slightly disagree with that because terrorism financing can be used with cash, and pretty much what they're getting at here, and I'm going to sum it up for you, is that they absolutely hate privacy coins because they don't know who's transacting from what to what. With Bitcoin, they can kind of get an idea of, okay, this amount of crypto is moving from this place to that place. They kind of have an idea of what's being moved around. With privacy coins, it's literally the equivalent to using cash. They don't know what transactions are being made. They're completely clueless. They're left out. With Bitcoin, you can kind of figure out, okay, someone's moving $1 million worth of Bitcoin from point A to point B. They can kind of figure out, okay, someone's moving money. But with privacy coins, they're completely clueless. They don't know who's moving what. Now, they're supposed to be rolling out their central bank digital currencies in the near future. With these central bank digital currencies, they'll be able to see every single transaction. They'll be able to trace every single transaction. And they even may be able to potentially freeze transactions and tax transactions at will. So privacy coins, they absolutely hate it. They want to see what you're doing at all times. In case you haven't noticed, that's kind of like the world that we live in now. You completely have no privacy. Your Instagram accounts, your Facebook accounts, even your text messages, your Google accounts, they can see virtually every single thing that you're doing, whether you want to believe it or not. But they do have backdoors and they can access virtually any social media account that you have. Now, they can't do that with Bitcoin, but they can see the transactions. Now, when you have a cryptocurrency like Monero, they are completely clueless and they don't know what's going on. It's the equivalent, like I said before, to using cash. If you use cash somewhere, no one knows you went to a corner store or a convenience store to purchase a pack of gum. No one would know. Or if you went to, let's say you're going to a strip club and you're using cash, no one will know that you're using strip club and a cash. No one would know. But when they're rolling out their central bank digital currencies, it gives them complete control over every single thing that you're doing, and they can spy on you. They can do whatever they want. They can pause, freeze transactions. They can not approve you for certain transactions if you're doing something deemed unlawful. So just keep that in mind. So this is the real reason why they're doing that in France, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing this in other countries as well. So just keep in mind, if you have Monero or any other privacy coins, that's just something to be very mindful of. Let's take a look at our next story. Schiff blames government for the massive dollar depreciation, still refuses to accept Bitcoin is digital gold. Goldbug and Bitcoin opponent Schiff says the U.S. government actions in the past 7-8 years are partly responsible for the massive depreciation of the U.S. dollar. Using a medical bill from 1942 to illustrate the extent of the dollar decline, Schiff says the $70 paid to foot hospital expenses that year was the equivalent to 2 ounces of gold. Dollar depreciation in 1942, an ounce of gold was sold for about $35, but due to inflation and the subsequent depreciation of the US dollar, the same ounce now sells for about $1,750. Using this analogy, Schiff asserts that the same itemized bill for a 7-day stay in New York hospital in 1942 would be the equivalent to $3,700. And here's the bill, and here's his tweet. You know, I agree with Peter Schiff, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I agree with him with the government is responsible for the depreciation of the dollar. However, him not liking Bitcoin, I completely disagree with him. It is digital gold, and now we see all of these wealthy individuals coming out saying that they love Bitcoin. We had Mass Mutual just the other day, an insurance company, come out and say that they're buying, I think, $100 million worth of Bitcoin. This is just going to continue to happen. It's a snowball effect. More and more prominent investors and institutions and publicly trading companies are going to come out and purchase more Bitcoin, and drying up the supply and also causing the price of Bitcoin to spike. So I agree with him in regard to the government being responsible for the depreciation of the dollar. He still refuses to accept Bitcoin as digital gold, and that's fine. His business is gold. So you have to understand it's going to be like a conflict of interest if he was to say, you know what, I like Bitcoin now, considering that he has a gold company. So keep that in mind. But yeah, understandable. But yeah, Peter Schiff's been hating on Bitcoin for quite some time. The funny thing about it is his son actually has some Bitcoin. So I could only imagine Peter Schiff has Bitcoin as well, but he's not going to publicly say it. And he even said, I think it was a couple months ago, he said he got locked out of his Bitcoin account. I think he meant to say he probably got locked out of his ledger and he couldn't remember the password. But anyway, that's that story. Let's take a look at our next story. Bitcoin exchanges dropped to lows not seen since 2018. Long-term holders realize profits. According to data, Bitcoin balance on exchanges are shrinking a great deal and have dropped on levels not seen in 2 years. Arcane research detailed the charts show the number of Bitcoin leaving exchanges has seen a sharp decline and has been one of the main stories of the year. Meanwhile, on-chain metrics indicate a number of older coins are being sold as Bitcoin value increases. Bitcoin held on exchanges dropped 21% since February. In 2020, there's a lot of cryptocurrencies held on exchanges. However, their aggregate number of Bitcoin held on trading platforms has declined immensely this year. In fact, Bitcoin held on exchanges hasn't been as low as they are today since 2018, according to on-chain statistics by Glassnode. From January 2018 to February 2020, the aggregate total of Bitcoin held on exchanges climbed. However, since February, Bitcoin held on exchanges saw a 21.66% drop and remains at levels not seen in 2 years. But there you have it. People are taking their cryptocurrency or their Bitcoin off the exchanges. If you have any other cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin, please take it off the exchanges. If you're trading, then it's different. Then it's understandable that you need to have some Bitcoin and some other cryptocurrency balances on there if you're going to be trading back and forth. But if it's not your keys, then it's not your crypto. So keep that in mind. If you don't own it, it's not yours. If it's not on your ledger or your Trezor, or if it's not on your digital wallet, then you do not own your cryptocurrency. So please keep that in mind, and please remove all your cryptocurrencies if you're not trading. If you have Bitcoin on Cash App, remove it from there. If you have it on Binance, what's the other exchanges? Kraken. If you have it on any of those exchanges, just please remove your crypto on there. It's not safe to leave any cryptocurrencies on there because the company might go out of business. There might be a crash or something might happen and you might not have access to your cryptocurrency. So please keep that in mind. Let's take a look at our next story. Analyst, PlanB predicts Bitcoin price will rise 10x or 20x in 2021. Quant analyst, PlanB predicts Bitcoin reaching as high as 300K in 2021. The Dutch analyst says crypto is a winner-takes-all game that will lead to the fading of multiple currencies. Quantitative Bitcoin analyst PlanB says Bitcoin scarcity will lead to a massive bull run in 2021. PlanB, who devised the popular stock-to-flow valuation applied to Bitcoin, says Bitcoin is setting up to be the leading crypto asset by price next year. Speaking in an interview with Salt Talks, the Dutch analyst was bullish on Bitcoin and predicted the price could reach 300,000 by the end of 2021. He said, if you look at the trajectory of what we had the last 10 years, where it could go to the level of gold and real estate, then I expect Bitcoin to do another 10x or 20x. So it will go to well north of 100,000, maybe north of 300,000 before Christmas next year. And that is completely insane. But I really must put this out there, and I must warn you all. There's a chance that it could happen, and then there's a chance that it probably won't. So if you have your money in this market, just be prepared for anything. And please do not go insane with trying to cash out your entire Bitcoin if you have one. Just keep in mind that 100,000 to 300,000 is just what we may which may happen this cycle. So there's a good chance in the future that won't even be a lot. It may go to 1 million to 5 million in the future. So please really think hard before you decide to do anything rash, like sell your Bitcoin. Now, if you have more than one Bitcoin, then by all means, if you want to take profits, then go ahead. But also, I must also remind you of this. Usually those altcoins tend to follow Bitcoin when there's a massive bull run. So if you've picked the right altcoins, then Bitcoin would be great reaching those prices. But let's say if you pick the coin that's like a cent or 2 cents or 3 cents, and it has a great use case, then there's a potential for you to make a ton of money. That's if you buy a lot of that particular cryptocurrency. So please keep that in mind. Yes, Bitcoin is the king. It's not going anywhere, but there are other altcoins that can potentially make you a millionaire. It sounds crazy. It sounds insane. Don't get me wrong. You should definitely hold some Bitcoin in your portfolio. Obviously, this is not investment advice. It's just my investment opinion. I think Bitcoin should be your first holding. And then after that, maybe dabble in some of the altcoins. But you should have at least acquired at least 0.28 or 1 BTC, at least. If you've got a couple Bitcoin, then you're good to go. You can probably dabble with some of the alts. But keep that in mind, that when Bitcoin goes to these insane prices, if you look at the history of what we had happen in 2017, a lot of those other altcoins also spiked up as well. However, a lot of those altcoins also died. So you kind of got to know when to take profits. So just be very, very mindful of that. So if you're holding a Cardano, or if you're holding a Theta, or if you're holding a Zilliqa, then there's potential to potentially take profits. And those coins could potentially make you a millionaire. Now, I'm not telling you to invest in those coins, but do your own research and see what's out there. Also, Ethereum is going to probably, if Bitcoin goes to 100 or 300,000, I can only imagine Ethereum will probably be anywhere from 20 to maybe 40,000. That would be insane, but that's just me saying that. But I'm not sure where Ethereum is going to go in the future. So just keep that in mind. So let's take a look at our next story. It says Morgan Stanley Strategist recommends Bitcoin as central banks ramp up money printing. Morgan Stanley Investment Management Chief Strategic and Head of Emerging Markets has recommended Bitcoin as an alternative investment to stocks amid central bank massive money printing policies. He says that alternative assets like gold and cryptocurrency could keep doing well while stocks struggle. So there you have it. You know, I'm not going to get too deep into the actual article, but look at that. You have the banks employees saying that, hey, you know, gold and cryptocurrencies could do, you know, really well while stocks struggle. So keep that in mind. We're in a current public health crisis right now. We don't know exactly when it's going to end. Yes, they just rolled out that new vaccine, but they're still saying even though it's rolled out, there still may be bumps ahead in the road. So keep that in mind. We're going to have a very interesting 2021. I think it's going to be a good year, but it's also going to be a very bad year. And the reason why I say that, if you're in crypto and you have Bitcoin or any other altcoins, good ones, and PlanB happens to be correct and Bitcoin goes to 100,000 or 300,000, that would be insane. If you're holding Bitcoin or any of those other alts that have a good use case, you'll be rolling in the dough. However, it could also be a very bad year in that people who are not in the crypto market, who are in the traditional stock market or even the real estate market, they could be hit extremely hard if things do not pick up to where they were before. And I don't think they're going to pick up where they were before this whole public health crisis started. So it's going to be an extremely interesting year. What I would suggest, just my investment opinion, it probably makes sense to get some gold, get some silver, get some crypto. Obviously, Bitcoin should be the #1 thing on your list. Then after that, maybe Ethereum and some other altcoins with a relatively good use case. That would probably be the smartest thing to do. But anywho, let's take a look at our current cryptocurrency prices. It says Bitcoin is $9,244. Ethereum is $587.45. XRP is 49 cents. Tether is $1 as always. Litecoin is 82.01. Chainlink is 12.89. Bitcoin Cash is 271.96. Cardano is 15 cents. Polkadot is $4.92. Binance Coin is $30.15. Stellar is 17 cents. USD Coin is $1. Bitcoin SV is 166.04. Monero is 152.91 or 85 now. EOS is $2.85. Wrapped Bitcoin is $19,253. Neem is 24 cents. Tron is 2 cents. Tezos is $2.23, and OKB is $5.58. That is going to wrap it up for the top 20 cryptocurrencies. Some honorable mentions that I think you should look at, but obviously do your own research. Is Cardano. I've mentioned this before. Chainlink, I think, is pretty good. Also, Monero, even though it's a privacy coin, be extremely careful with that, because I do not know what's going to happen in the future with privacy coins. I could only assume that they'll be more valuable in the future. However, it might not be a good idea to have too many privacy coins, because it might be really difficult to hold them in certain wallets and on certain exchanges, because they're going to come down hard on them because they want to see every single transaction that you're making. So keep that in mind. So that might be a good one to have in the future. It may not be, but that's for you to decide. Do your own research. Another coin that I like Tezos. I think it's okay. One coin that I really like. I like Theta. I like VeChain, and I also like, where's this coin? And I like Zilliqa. We'll get into that into another video, but that's going to wrap it up for this one. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're listening on YouTube. We're also on LBRY, we're on ODYSSEY, and we're also on bitlink.tv. And you can follow me on Float, Instagram, and Twitter. That is actually going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you liked, and I will see you guys and gals later.